My fiancé told me, "This is it, take it or leave it." So I gave him the ring back and told him to get out of my house. My fiancé Tom, 37 male, and I, 28 female, have been together 2 years. He moved into my house 6 months ago and proposed a month ago. I thought we were solid, but now I'm questioning everything. I inherited a fortune 3 years ago. It changed my life, but I live below my means. I work part-time as a teacher, travel, and have a nonprofit in the works. I budget carefully so the money lasts. Only my dad and sister know the full amount. When Tom moved in, I paid everything except most groceries. He wanted us to eventually buy a bigger house together so his dad could move in. I said no to living with in-laws, but suggested maybe a separate unit someday. He pushed back, but agreed we needed to discuss finances first. Tom earns $10,000 a month and has $100,000 saved. I have millions invested and about $40,000 a month income from it. When I told him, he was shocked. He said if I have so much, why not just buy the house and cover everything? I explained that just because I can doesn't mean I should. I proposed separate finances, a joint account for expenses, and splitting costs proportionally to income. I also told him I wanted a prenup. That's when things blew up. He argued we should be equal partners, meaning I buy the house in both our names even if he doesn't contribute. We fought about this for days. Eventually, he gave me an ultimatum. Final offer, you buy the house, we each own 50%, I'll sign the prenup, take it or leave it. I asked if that meant breaking up if I said no. He hesitated but said yes. So I left it. I took off the ring, told him it was over, and that he needed to move out. He backtracked, saying he didn't really want to end things, just wanted me to agree. He accused me of throwing away our relationship for money. I told him he threw it away by demanding I fund our life and give him half of assets I work to protect. Now I'm wondering if I sabotaged my relationship. I love him, but I don't think it's fair to bankroll a grown man or accept ultimatums about my own money. So am I the jerk? Edit. When we first started dating, he understandably questioned how I managed my lifestyle on a teaching salary. I explained that I had a small inheritance which allowed me to buy my house and have some savings to live on. I admit I may have been wrong to be vague, but at the time we were just starting to date and I wasn't comfortable sharing all the details yet. My house is nice, but nothing extravagant, and during our relationship we always split expenses 50-50, dates, trips, everything. When he moved in, I offered to keep covering the utilities since I was already paying them, and he would handle groceries. Things were fine until after we got engaged. I pushed for us to discuss everything openly before marriage, and we agreed on most things. About his father moving in. This isn't something he wants right away, but he says eventually his dad would move in so he can take care of him. I adore his father, but I personally don't want to live with in-laws. His solution was that we should buy another house together, so he would feel like it's our home instead of him living in my house. I understood that perspective, but the new house would also have to be larger if his dad were to move in, which I'm not comfortable with. About finances. Initially, when we discussed buying another house, the plan was to contribute together. But once we started looking at what we could afford, we had to lay our finances on the table. When he found out my net worth, everything shifted. He said that if we split 50-50, we couldn't afford a bigger house, and since I had the means, I should buy the house myself, but it would still be our house. I told him that whatever amount he contributes would equal his share of equity in the property. Maybe I was naive, but until this point, I never saw signs of him being a gold digger. He never pressured me to pay for things and always split expenses fairly. That's why this change has been such a shock. Right now, I'm locked in my bedroom, and I told him he can sleep in the guest room tonight, but that he needs to move out tomorrow. We haven't spoken since. That's where things stand. Am I the jerk for telling my BF if he doesn't propose before the end of this year, I will start planning my future without him? I, 36 female, have been with my boyfriend, 36 male, for 5 years. When we started dating, I expressed to him that I wanted us to grow together and was dating to marry. He said he was more slow-paced with everything that he does, and if we made it 5 years together, he'd feel comfortable proposing. We talked about this throughout the relationship, so this was well established and we'd both agreed. Even though 5 years seemed a bit too long for me, I was understanding of him because his last relationship, which ended 2 years before we met, he bought a ring and she dumped him. Fast forward to now, we've been together all these years, and in that time we even had a child together, yet he still never proposed. I brought it up earlier this year how this is our 5th year together, and I would really like us to take the next step forward in our commitment and get engaged by the end of the year, our anniversary. He started telling me how he doesn't see the point and doesn't believe in marriage anymore because it's just a piece of paper and there's no need to get the government involved. I told him that that wasn't the point, and this was about an expression of our devotion to one another and solidifying ourselves as a family. I offered we could do a different type of ceremony where we didn't have to even involve the government because this is not about that to me. He kept making excuses, and I asked him where does he want to be in the next couple of years, and he said he just thinks about day to day. I told him if he doesn't get it together and propose by the end of the year, that I will have to reevaluate his role in my life and make future plans that don't include him since he is showing me that he doesn't want to be included. He said I'm a jerk for forcing him to propose and that he doesn't want to. I told him that's fine and he doesn't have to, but that I also don't have to sit around waiting for him and wasting my time on someone who doesn't want to grow old with me and do life together, marriage, family, etc. My boyfriend hasn't proposed after 5 years together and having a child, and I told him if he doesn't want to marry me that I'd start planning my life without him. Edit. When we first had the talk about marriage in the beginning of our relationship, he expressed wanting to be married and wanting to take his time to be sure we'd last because he didn't want to be left eventually if things didn't work out. He would bring up marriage, buying a house, etc. fairly often over the years, and it's only now he's done a 180 and saying he doesn't believe in marriage. So am I the jerk for asking marriage, or I will start my life without him? Am I the jerk for not seeing my stepmother as my mom after 10 years when I know she wants to be? I'm 16 and my mom passed away when I was just 4. I don't remember her well, but I remember her enough. When I was 6, my dad remarried. My stepmother came into the picture, and from the very beginning, she wanted to be more than a stepmom. She promised she'd always try to earn the title of mom, and my dad encouraged me to eventually call her that too. He even told me I shouldn't ever say half-siblings if they had more kids together, just siblings, or else I'd be punished. But despite all of that, I never called her mom. I always used her first name, and when people asked me about my mom, I would talk about my real mom, the one I lost. My stepmother has always tried hard, sometimes too hard. She pushes herself into every part of my life, even into relationships with my friends and extended family. My mom's side of the family hates how much she tries to insert herself, and things blew up when one of my aunts told her she would never be my real mother. My stepmother tried to block me from seeing my aunt, but legally she had no say. For the record, I don't think she's an awful person, but she's not my mom, and that hurts her deeply. Whenever people ask about my mom, I tell the truth. She died when I was 4. I never mention my stepmother. That stings her more than anything else. A few weeks ago, she asked me about the future. She wanted to know if, when I grow up, get married, and have a life of my own, would she be treated as my mom? Or would she just be my dad's wife, basically a glorified babysitter? She admitted that even after 10 years of raising me, she feels like I don't view her as a parent. She told me therapists once warned her this could happen, but she always believed she could change my heart. I told her the truth. I will never see her as my mom. If she wants us to be closer, she needs to back off, give me space, and accept that my real mom, the one she tries to erase, will always matter to me. And my extended family will always be important. That wasn't what she wanted to hear. She yelled, I got grounded for 3 weeks, and my dad sided with her. He said I should have reassured her that I love her just as much as my mom and that she's equal in every way. But I refused to lie. That made him furious. He told me my feelings were wrong, that they were just based on biology. But it's not just that. It's about the bond I had with my mom first, something nobody else can replace. I reminded him how I cried for my mom every single day for months after she died, and told him no one could ever fill that hole. My stepmother got upset and said I was basically a coward for admitting she'll never be as important to me. She said it isn't fair because 10 years of parenting should make her my mom. So here I am, grounded and being told I'm wrong for how I feel. But here's my question. Was I wrong? On one hand, my stepmother has been there for me for 10 years, trying her best to parent me. But on the other hand, can love and respect really be forced? Can someone demand the title of mom when in my heart that place is already taken by the woman I lost? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy these stories, Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one.